So the first name on the speakers list is Desmond Berghofer. And Mr. Berghofer, if I can ask you to just push the button in the center there, that'll activate your mic.
Sorry. Madam Chair and members of the Development Permit Board. My name is Desmond Berghofer. I live on West 15th Avenue, directly to the north of the proposed development. I'm a member of the steering committee of the Kitsilano Arbutus Residents Association, which formed to engage the community in studying the impact of the proposed development on the community. Many submissions have been made to the city about perceived negative impacts and other anomalies concerning this proposal, and other members of the steering committee will be speaking to those concerns today. In my professional career, I spent more than 20 years in public service as a senior official with the Government of Alberta, including 11 years as Assistant Deputy Minister and Acting Deputy Minister. I've had a lot of experience in seeing the public service at work, and I know when the community is not being well served by the public service that it supports to look after its interests. The danger always is that the public service will become preoccupied with its own interests and not primarily with the community it was created to serve. The application you have before you is a classic example of how the public service has failed the community. The project under consideration was put together by city planners working with the developer with zero consultation at an early stage with the community that would be affected by the project. In its defense, the public service in this case might argue that it had no requirement to consult with the community because the project did not require an application for rezoning. It might also claim it has gone out of its way to consider the impact of the project on the community and has made many conditions to improve the, quote, neighborliness of the project. However, while the staff recommendations that have been made for improvement to the project are necessary, they are by no means sufficient. They are not sufficient because the city planning staff failed at the outset to appreciate the particular nature of the redevelopment encompassed by this proposal. Any planner with any sensitivity and true understanding of the responsibilities of the public service would have known that this project involved the preservation or loss of valuable community, cultural and social amenities in the Varsity Ridge Bowling Centre and the Ridge Theatre. They would have known that this site is located at the high point of Arbutus Ridge and the south gateway to the Arbutus Corridor, which can either be redeveloped as a ragtag mishmash of random projects or as a carefully considered vision of the potential future for 21st urban design. Knowing this, the planners would have recognized the valuable visioning work done by citizens and the city over many years past. They would have known the passion and the interest of Kitsilano residents in seeing that the community is developed with a vibrant vision of urban renewal. They would have recognized the wealth of professional citizen expertise in the Kitsilano Arbutus Residents Association for community development. Knowing all this, sensitive and responsible city planners would have engaged us at the beginning of the planning of a new iconic building to replace the 60-year-old Arbutus Ridge Shopping Centre. If they had done so, Madam Chairman, we would have told them not to use the valuable city-owned land in front of the existing building as a landscape for the developer. But as a means of facilitating access to a new building to avoid a nightmare of traffic congestion at this busy intersection, throwing all of that burden onto the lanes and quiet community streets in the neighborhood. We would have encouraged them not to see the building as a developer's opportunity to capitalize on the west-facing views over a beautiful neighborhood, but rather as a building integral to Arbutus Street and to be the model for all developments along the Arbutus corridor. We would have encouraged a creative thinking about how the Varsity Ridge Bowling Centre, treasured by a 5,000-strong intergenerational clientele, many of whom are here today, could be preserved, and how the iconic Ridge Theatre could be preserved as a community theatre and entertainment and recreation centre. Before any stroke of the pen was made to prepare a set of plans, we would have thrashed out these issues, not from the perspective of how much profit could be extracted from the project for the developer, but from the view of what is best for the community, given a fair return for the developer. But sadly, Madam Chair, we were not asked, and the board and the flawed process, excluding citizen engagement, went ahead in collaboration with city planners who had no real appreciation for community values and no intimate knowledge of the community they allegedly represented. And they produced the flawed project you have before you today. The city's flawed process has put the community into rearguard opposition to a project that they know has been skewed to the developer's advantage by a complicit city process. You will hear other speakers today to telling you how wounded the community is by what the city planning staff is recommending for approval. But all is not lost, Madam Chair. The Development Permit Board has the opportunity to say no to this flawed process, to say no to the project that you have before you, to turn the project down and instruct city planners to reconvene the process with full citizen participation and bring back a proposal that will be a credit to the city of Vancouver. Thank you for the opportunity.